Hello everyone. Welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we uncover the fascinating stories behind coins from around the world. Today, we're diving deep into the history, value, and collector interest of the United States 1-cent coin from 1988. You might have one of these pennies sitting in your collection, or maybe you've come across one in your pocket change. But the question is, could it be worth more than just 1 cent? Let's find out. The 1988 Lincoln cent belongs to the famous Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. The obverse, or front side, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, which had been the standard design since 1959. The year 1988 was particularly interesting because it was part of the era when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from bronze to copper-plated zinc coins. From 1909 to 1982, pennies were mostly copper, but after mid-1982, the composition changed to 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. That means your 1988 penny is a zinc coin, much lighter in weight compared to the older, solid copper ones. This change in composition had big implications. Zinc pennies are more prone to corrosion and surface damage, which affects their collectability and long-term condition. That's why finding a 1988 cent in pristine condition can be exciting for collectors. In 1988, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents, making it a very common year overall. Here are the mintages: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, asterisk asterisk. Over 6.1 billion coins Denver Mint, D mint mark. Over 5.2 billion coins San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. Over 3 million proof coins. Because so many were struck, most 1988 pennies in circulation are only worth face value. However, rare errors, mint state examples, and proof coins can carry a premium. Now let's talk about value. The worth of a 1988 penny depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it has any errors. In average condition, your 1988 penny is generally worth 1 cent, the same as its face value. That's because billions exist. Uncirculated condition, mint state, a 1988 penny in brilliant, uncirculated condition can sell for 50 cents to a few dollars, depending on the grade. High-grade certified coins asterisk asterisk. At grades like MS 65 and above, collectors have paid between $5 and $20 or more. Proof coins, 1988 S. These are struck with special dies and polished planchets. They can range from $3 to $10 plus, depending on quality. But here's where it gets exciting. Error coins. Some 1988 pennies are worth far more because of minting errors and varieties. Here are a few to look out for. 1988 double die obverse, DDO, asterisk asterisk. Some pennies show doubling in the date or lettering, making them more valuable. These can fetch $50 to several $100, depending on clarity and grade. 1988 reverse of 1989 variety asterisk asterisk. This is one of the most famous varieties. Certain 1988 pennies struck in Philadelphia and Denver accidentally used the reverse design intended for 1989 coins. Collectors call it the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny, and it can be worth $100 to $500 or more, depending on condition. Off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets asterisk asterisk. These error coins can sell anywhere from $20 up to several $100, depending on how dramatic the error is. So, if you have a 1988 penny, check carefully with a magnifying glass. You might have a hidden treasure in your change. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Collectors grade coins on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor, P1, all the way up to perfect mint state, MS 70. A circulated 1988 penny with heavy wear is usually only worth face value. A coin in about uncirculated, AU, condition may have slight wear but still retain much of its original luster. A true mint state, MS coin, especially MS 65 and above, shows no wear and sharp details. These are the ones that attract collectors and bring in higher prices. Because zinc cents corrode easily, a well-preserved 1988 penny is much harder to find, and that's why high-grade examples have strong collector demand. So, what's the takeaway? The 1988 Lincoln cent may be common, but in the world of coin collecting, details make all the difference. Most are only worth a cent, but error coins, proof issues, and pristine mint state examples can bring in significantly more. If you have a jar of pennies lying around, don't overlook the 1988 coins. Who knows, you might be holding an error penny worth hundreds of dollars. The story of the 1988 United States 1-cent coin, often called the Lincoln penny, cannot be told without first looking at the broader history of the Lincoln Cent series itself. The Lincoln Cent was introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was revolutionary at the time because no American coin had ever featured a real historical figure. Prior to 1909, U.S. coins typically showed symbols of liberty or allegorical figures. The decision to put Lincoln's portrait on the cent was a bold move by President Theodore Roosevelt, who wanted American coinage to reflect the nation's true heritage and great leaders. The original design of the Lincoln cent, created by Victor David Brenner, showed a side profile of Lincoln on the obverse front, with 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. This wheat penny design lasted from 1909 until 1958. But in 1959, on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro. This design showed the Grand Monument in Washington, D.C., and if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. Fast forward to the 1980s, and we find ourselves in a period of major change for the Lincoln cent. Up until 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gave them a reddish-brown look and made them heavier. However, due to rising copper prices in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the cost of making a copper penny actually began to exceed 1 cent. To solve this problem, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic change in 1982, switching the composition of pennies to 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. This new copper-plated zinc cent was lighter, cheaper to produce, and became the standard from then onward. The 1988 penny is part of this zinc era of the Lincoln cent. What makes this historically significant is that these coins reflected not just an artistic legacy but also an economic necessity. By the time 1988 rolled around, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of these zinc cents each year. In fact, the late 1980s were a period of massive coin production. America was experiencing economic growth under President Ronald Reagan, and by 1988, during the presidency of George H.W. Bush, coinage demand was high. The U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver struck billions of coins annually to meet the needs of the economy. Another interesting piece of history tied to the 1988 penny is its place in the evolution of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. By the late 1980s, the Mint was preparing updates to the master dies used for coinage, which would later lead to subtle design changes. This is why the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety exists. Some dies intended for the 1989 design were mistakenly used in 1988. That mistake gave us one of the most famous collectible varieties of the decade. Beyond the technical history, the 1988 penny also carries cultural weight. Think about it. Millions of Americans carried this coin in their pockets during 1988. It was the year George H.W. Bush was elected president, the year the Winter Olympics were held in Calgary, and a year marked by both Cold War tensions and the beginning of major technological shifts, like the rise of personal computers. In many ways, the 1988 penny is a snapshot of everyday American life during that era. A simple coin, yet deeply connected to the culture, economy, and politics of its time. So, the history of the 1988 Lincoln cent is more than just a story about metal. It's about a coin that symbolizes over 80 years of Lincoln's presence on U.S. coinage, the economic realities of the 1980s, and the small minting quirks that would later excite collectors. Point 8. When we talk about the value of a 1988 Lincoln cent, one of the most important factors is its condition. Condition can make the difference between a coin that is worth only 1 cent and a coin that collectors are willing to pay several dollars, or even hundreds for, if it's rare and in pristine state. Collectors use what's known as the Sheldon Coin Grading Scale, which ranges from poor, P1, all the way up to perfect mint state, MS 70. This scale helps us understand how much wear, luster, and detail a coin has. Poor, P1, to good, G, 4***. A 1988 penny in this condition will be heavily worn, with Lincoln's portrait flat and the date possibly hard to read. These are usually only worth face value. Fine, F12, to very fine, VF 20***. Some details of Lincoln's hair and the Lincoln Memorial will still be visible, but the coin will show lots of circulation wear. Value remains low. Extremely fine, XF 40, to about uncirculated, -50 Australian dollars***. Here, the coin has only light wear on the highest points. Much of the original design is visible, and the coin may still have some luster. Collectors start to take notice in this range. Mint state, MS 60 to MS 70***. These are the best condition coins, completely uncirculated, with no signs of wear. They may have small bag marks from the minting process, but they retain full mint luster. High-grade examples can be worth several dollars or more. Proof coins, PR 60 to PR 70 ***, specially made for collectors. Proof pennies from 1988 have a mirror-like shine. A flawless proof can command premium prices. Now, here's where the 1988 penny becomes unique. Unlike older Lincoln cents made of solid copper, the 1988 penny is a zinc coin with a thin copper coating. This copper-plated zinc composition is less durable than pure copper, which means that 1988 pennies are prone to problems like if the copper plating is scratched, the zinc underneath reacts quickly with moisture, leading to bubbles or holes in the coin surface. Small raised bumps sometimes appear on zinc cents from the minting process. These lower the eye appeal and collector value. Zinc pennies can turn dark, streaky, or spotted over time, especially if they weren't stored properly. Because of this, finding a 1988 penny in truly pristine mint state condition is actually more difficult than you might think, even though billions were produced. Collectors often place their coins in protective holders like 2x2 cardboard flips, plastic capsules, or coin albums to prevent further damage. Since zinc cents are so fragile, improper storage can quickly ruin them. A 1988 penny left in a damp environment might corrode within a few years, while one kept in a dry, protected case can look brand new decades later. Another aspect of condition is eye appeal, how nice the coin looks overall. Collectors pay more for coins with bright red luster, sharp details, and no distracting marks. The color designation for copper-plated coins is also important. Brown, BN****, a coin that has darkened over time. Least valuable. Red-brown, RB***, some original color remains mixed with darker tones. Red, RD***, full, bright red luster as it left the mint. Most valuable. A 1988 penny graded MS65RD, mint state red, can sell for much more than a typical brown circulated example. To sum it up, the condition of your 1988 penny will make all the difference. A circulated, scratched, or corroded coin. Still worth 1 cent. A bright, uncirculated example with full red color? Worth dollars. A flawless proof coin or rare error in pristine condition. Potentially worth hundreds, so when you check your 1988 pennies, look carefully at the color, luster, strike, and overall eye appeal because those details are what truly set apart a common coin from a collectible treasure.